Hi everyone, welcome to Sickle Cell Disease Part 4, and that will be about prevention of sickle cell disease crisis. If you have checked my channel, I have covered sickle cell disease Parts 1, 2, and 3, and with that I have brought out the pieces of information as per pathogenesis, inheritance, symptoms, common crises, and treatment. But right now, it is time to discuss the possible preventive measures, and the measures should start with screening before marriage. Charity, they say, begins at home, but it should not end there. When we screen before marriage, we don't have the headache about the rest. But if, peradventure, you've entered into the marriage, you are now down with sickle cell disease, kid or kids, my heart goes out to all of you. Okay, then how could we prevent the crisis when the disease is already here? Let's go. Okay, the first line, like I've just said in my introductory section, is prevention from the beginning. Genetic screening before marriage is very, very wise. And when the genotype is done and you know that you are having AS or SC and your partner is also having AS or SC or S whatever, then you know what to do. And of course, the pathogenesis, if you go through my presentation, I have gone into details how we arrive here. Just the substitution of certain amino acids, A for T at position 6. And with that, we came down with sending out glutamate and having valine. And that has changed the configuration and the shape of the red blood cells. And inheritance, we have gone into details how Mendelian inheritance pattern could guide us. That in each pregnancy, all the possible probabilities that we're going to come across have been fully explained. So you can check my presentation on that. I think that should be sickle cell disease part 1. And of course, the crisis will all be found in sickle cell disease part 2, vaso-occlusive crisis, hyperhemolytic crisis, aplastic crisis or aplastic anemia, sequestration crisis, and all other symptoms are already listed there. The lifespan is variable. Formerly, we were told that anyone diagnosed with sickle cell disease will live between 21 and 30 years old. Nowadays, with sophisticated medical equipment and intervention and more knowledge in advanced nations where those are available, people live as old as 40 to 60 years and even more when they try the curative measures with hematopoietic stem cell transplantation or gene therapy, and with the availability of hydroxyurea that has lessened the symptoms. People live and enjoy their lives better than in the olden days. We have to educate the family and the patient that, okay, this is a big problem. We are in for a long haul. Then, how they came about it, go over the genetic inheritance and everything so that the affected child will not grow to have affected children as well. Then, regular hydration, avoid all hypoxic states like climbing mountains. Anywhere, anything that would decrease oxygen availability, they should run away from such. Surgical splenectomy to prevent sequestration crisis. that might not be what many people will advise, but is going to give peace of mind to both the affected child and the parents. Prevent weather-related crises, particularly those who are living in temperate countries. Wintertime, dress warm, okay? And of course, extremes of the two temperatures will have effect on them, but cold is more of a problem. Penicillin prophylaxis for those with autosplenism or with those who embark on preventive surgical splenectomy. And of course, folic acid in countries where food stuff or food given to the children are not fortified with folic acid already. Proguanil in malaria endemic regions of the world. You have to know signs and symptoms of the complications. That is part of the education. And you are free to use hydroxyurea and L-glutamine. That will help greatly. My presentation is to help everybody, including the service providers and the service recipients in health field. So when I mention hydroxyurea or L-glutamine, I'm helping the affected children and the families so that they'll be able to cooperate with their physicians when such is suggested. Okay? Blood transfusion to prevent acute renal failure, acute chest syndrome, pulmonary hypertension, and organ failure. Hematopoietic cell transplantation, if you are seeking cure, is available in advanced centers. Transcranial doppler to prevent stroke, and that will help by making early detection of such. Gene therapy, and of course, newborn genetic screening so that you can embark on intervention immediately. And part of the interventions is having some vaccines as young as 2 months. For example, if you go through my presentation on treatment, I have stated categorically that Prevnar 13, that is pneumococcal conjugate vaccine 13 valent, could be given from ages 2 months, 4, 6, 12 to 15 months old. Penicillin prophylaxis. Why do we do that? Now, to those who have their spleen shut down, cut off, and so on. So penicillin V, 125 mg per hour twice daily, from age of 2 months old. You can double the dose at age of 3 to 5. Some parents will not stop after 5 years, okay? So I'm okay with that. And if the child is allergic to penicillin, you can give macrolides like erythromycin, azithromycin, or zithromycin, as you may choose. Take all immunizations seriously and as scheduled, depending on your jurisdiction. Remember that 23 valent pneumococcal polysaccharide vaccines and pneumococcal conjugate vaccines 13 are required because of the problem with spleen, and also meningococcal vaccines. You have to monitor for iron overload. Why that? Because with the sickle nature of the red blood cells and with the persistent fragmentations, the loss of iron are released into the circulatory system, so they can have iron overload and be battling with hemochromatosis. So serum ferritin concentration should be assayed, and of course magnetic resonance imaging assay for that, and you get your desferoxamine And so, depending on where you are on the surface of the earth, the spelling is the ferrosamine in some parts of the world is the sferriosamine in some other parts. But you understand what I'm talking about. Okay, marriage counseling for potential parents with AS and AS, or AS with SS, or AS and SC. Then someone is asking, how about AA and SS? That's a good combination. The outcome will all be AS. AA could marry anybody, okay? But anyone with AS should please screen. Have the respectfully seek the cooperation of the partner before falling in love deeply about their genetic constitution. Particularly, go over the regions of the world where sickle cell disease and the ethnic or racial groups that are more prone to it. Okay? So I don't like going into stuff that racial, ethnic, or whatever. But the truth must be said that the blacks, the Middle Easterners, some Indians are not left out. Actually, sickle cell disease is now going worldwide because of intermarriage between different races. So if you are AS or you are SC or you are SS, please, if you are not marrying people from European descent that are free, completely free, but if they have some other people from the Middle East, from African Americans, from India in their family, and they might have inherited one of these genes, please find out by doing your genotype. Okay, you can have your laboratory done with complete blood count, ferritin, iron, liver function test, and renal function test. Can have radiological test done with EKG because of possibility of effects on the cardiovascular system, particularly the heart rhythm. Your chest X-ray because we talked about acute coronary syndrome before, and your echo because of possibility of ischemia and DVT, thrombosis, and so on, particularly pulmonary hypertension, can have echo done. Physical exertion is good to have physical activities, but don't have physical exhaustion. Don't overdo it. Just exercise yourself to be healthy. You are not an individual meant for too much physical exhaustion, please. No mountainous climbing. That's going to be a sad news to someone with sickle cell disease who has a friend who wants to go on trip to Mount Kilimanjaro or Mount Everest. You are disqualified, okay? You are ineligible to have mountainous climbing. I'm sorry to declare that. Do you know the reason? The higher the altitude, the oxygen concentration availability would drop, and that would lead to serious crisis in you. Please, please. No strict drugs. Well, if you take it to be bad news, I take it to be good news for you because that will help you because many people are dying from adulterated street drugs. Even if it's not adulterated, it's not healthy. So no street drugs because there's possibility of ischemia, particularly cocaine. No smoking. Isn't that good? No vaping, okay? Close follow-up of pregnant women who are diagnosed with sickle cell disease. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have a separate presentation on pregnancy with sickle cell disease. A separate presentation will be out in the next few days. Hypostenuria is a problem. Do you know what hypostenuria is? These people cannot concentrate their urine, sickle cell disease patient. So they bedwet. I'm sorry to say that, but it is a fact. I want you to come to my channel and feel free that I'm going to get everything, okay? They have hypostenuria. They will be bedwetting. And I've seen a case when my colleague was prescribing antibiotics, with all due respect. I'm not trying to, I'm not giving name. I'm not even giving the place that it happened. And when I interacted with the family, I asked, what has the antibiotics done? They said nothing. I said, well, I'll talk to my colleague. Antibiotics, because of bedwetting in a child with sickle cell disease, will do nothing. Okay? The problem is hypostenuria. They couldn't concentrate. I mean, the urine is diluted. So they'll be bedwetting. And that could be a big problem for families. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow all precautions of secondary enuresis. Secondary enuresis, all precautions. So not because they have urinary tract infection or cystitis in any way. No, it's because they couldn't concentrate the urine. The concentration is low. It's diluted. That's why they were always bedwet. With that, I've come to the end of the presentation as far as sickle cell disease or sickle cell anemia is concerned. Kindly continue to subscribe to my channel and listen to all my presentations. And you are free to leave comments for me at the comment section. I remain yours. Thanks, I appreciate it.